Hello everyone, and welcome to our February 2023 General Energy Forecast. So for our General Energy Forecast, this is just a generalized reading for the month of February. If you are interested in your very own miracle mindset, which is basically where you get an individualized personal prescription delivered to your email each and every week on Monday, then you can go to my website and look at that. And that is just for 1 month. You can do it however many months you wish, but I only do it month by month. So for this month, I was really guided to the Osho Zen Tarot. And the Osho Zen Tarot is really interesting because it is about a lot of very Zen properties or like Zen mentality. And as I was walking today, that was something that kind of popped in my head. I said to myself, I don't want to play necessarily with shadow and light. What I want to do is dwell in truth. And then I just said, Spirit, what decks can I use that are going to really help me to embody that for this February forecast? And the Osho Zen Tarot came out, and then also the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. So those are going to be the two decks that we are going to be using. We're going to break down the month of February into our each week. So we'll do week 1, week 2, and week 3, because remember, February is a shorter month. So where there's only 3 weeks instead of our typical 4 weeks. So that's how we're going to be breaking it down. And then we're just going to see, maybe just 1 card will come out for each, maybe 2 cards will come out for each, maybe it'll be 4 or 5. We don't know. All we are here to do is just see what guidance Spirit has for us. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to begin with our first week in February. And like I said, we're going to the Osho Zen Tarot. So again, we're going to this very Zen mindset. And I will also tell you that I may need to look at the Osho Zen Tarot book. I have been playing with this for a little bit now, but I'm still very new to it. So I can give you an intuitive interpretation, but I may also have to go to the book and see what it says in the way of maybe tools or just an expanded explanation or interpretation. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay. Ooh, beautiful. All right. And then we're going to go to the, oh, goodness. All the cards are just flying out here. So we have a lot of beautiful messages. Okay. So we are already starting with 4 messages from the Osho Zen Tarot. All right. And this is just for the first week in February. And interestingly, astrologically, this first week in February, or at least starting tomorrow, we do have the sun conjunct Chiron. Now, I am not an astrologer. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I do watch Michael Lennox, and I do subscribe to Gaia Blooming. And both of them have kind of been talking about like healing conversations and big opportunities for healing that are coming up here in the month of February. And so our very first card right here is transformation. I mean, look at this beautiful card. And so, I mean, the card meaning in and of itself is telling us that we're going through this transformative process. And what we have to do in order to go through this transformative process is we have to be willing to have a new vision, a new way of looking at things. And as we have this new way of looking at things, as we go through this transformation, we must maintain our innocence. And no one ever loses their innocence, okay? You can't lose what was already given to you. And that's something that's really key. So through this transformation and this new vision, we want to be innocent in our curiosity about it. Good evening. So that's something that we really want to practice, is how can we be more in that childlike wonder, in that divine innocence where we are finding pleasure. Okay, very big key word, where we are finding pleasure in this new experience, in this new way of being. And as we do that, we actually have this traveling card. But see, the traveling card was in the reverse position. I don't think in the Osho Zen that there is like an upright meaning and a reverse meaning. But what I get from this is that we are on this journey. But since it's in the reverse position, what I would say is that maybe there's a little hesitation. Maybe we're not quite sure on the journey that we are embarking upon, or the transformation or the new vision that needs to happen. So we may be right now at this precipice of a new journey, and we have to be willing to which brings us to our next card, we have to be willing to set those intentions and detach. Simply saying, and this is a beautiful one that you can use for any area of your life, which is simply, I set the intention for my highest and best good. I set my intention as peace. I set my goal as peace. And then we detach. We let it go. Because detaching doesn't mean that we don't care. Detaching means that we are letting go of the when, where, why, and how. And we are simply allowing ourselves, again, in that innocence, to be guided through the transformation. Because here's the thing, at least my view on transformation. Transformation isn't about becoming something new. It is about revealing what was already there. If you think about a caterpillar was always a butterfly. It was just merely wearing that caterpillar skin for a little bit, and then it sloughed it off and said, okay, now let me reveal my radiance. Let me reveal it to the world. And that's what I kind of get from this spread right here for this first week in February. February is going to be a month of transformation, a month of new beginnings, a month where we get to step into that wonder, that innocence, and begin to really set our intentions and load our arrows, if you will. Like, we're just kind of loading it up. We're not quite shooting it off yet, but we're loading up our quiver, we're loading up our arrows, getting ready to shoot, but we're not quite there. Because what I find really interesting here is if you look at this new vision card, it almost looks like, he's getting back in there. He is set, he's getting ready to, almost looks like he's getting ready to like jump forward or throw something. And then of course we have the intention card right there as well, giving us that invitation. So really beautiful first week. Now, just because, the energies are here, this doesn't mean that transformation is always easy. And the reason that sometimes we find, transformation to be challenging is because we are resistant to letting go of what was. And we're afraid of what will be. So again, that's where that traveling card kind of comes in that reverse position, being like, we're ready, we want to go on a journey, but we're not quite sure what that journey is yet or where we want to go. We may have an idea, but we need a little bit more detail. Okay, so that's that first week. So now, see, and this is why I love the Osho Zen, because we just got 4 cards, which were just this beautiful way of, a new and different way of looking at things, which I just really enjoy. So now let's go to our second week in February. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Ooh, beautiful. And then let's go to our second card here from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. So we have our first card here, and this is again from the Osho Zen Tarot. And like I said, I may need to look up some of these cards just to give you an extended meaning. And I can give you, again, my intuitive meaning, but I always like to kind of give you that extended one if possible. So with this one, this is giving us this beautiful invitation that we don't have to go through the transformation alone, that it is asking us to, I'll say, to ask for help where it's needed, and to kind of combine, if you will, kind of, excuse the 90s reference, I guess, but, to let our powers combine, and to really work with others. This is not a time for us to be in isolation. This is a time for us to be working with groups or asking for that help, working with others, if at all possible. And not only working with others, but then we also have two cards from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, and we have the Sisters of Growth, cycles of growth, natural cycles, divine order. So just saying that every time we have a meeting with someone, it is always for a reason, and it could be for a season, it could be for a lifetime, but we are not in charge of that. We are able to work with that person or that energy, that concept, for as long as we need to. And we really need to be open to communication. And not only communicating with others clearly, but communicating with our source as well, because it's going to be leading us towards those people that we need to work with in order to expand, in order to help us through that transformation. And what I love about the Hawk Prince, spirit communication, paying attention, it's paying attention to those signs and symbols that our intuition, that our divine source is leading us towards. So what is the divine leading us towards? How can we really tell that? And again, the language of intuition, the language of the divine is all in sign and symbol. And the reason it's in sign and symbol is so that we can have that freedom of interpretation. Okay, so that we can interpret that message, because maybe a hawk to one person may be see things from a higher viewpoint, where a hawk to another person may mean that we need to have keen eyesight and we need to be really aware of everything around us. So one is saying see things from a higher perspective, and the other one is saying to be more aware, so to have that more of a microscopic view of things. So just being aware that that's why Spirit speaks to us in sign and symbol, so that we can gain the interpretation that Spirit would have us have. Okay? So really interesting. Now, I do want to read to you a little further about card number 4 that we pulled from the Osho Zen Tarot. And like I said, and I have no shame in doing so, I need to look up that card, because again, I've only been working with this deck for a little bit now. So let's see what this card has for us. It says, you have an opportunity to participate with others now, to make your contribution to creating something great and more beautiful than each of you could manage alone. Your participation will not only nourish you, but it will also contribute to the preciousness of the whole. Have you ever seen the night going? Very few people even become aware of things which are happening every day. Have you ever seen the evening coming, the midnight and its song, the sunrise and its beauty? We are behaving almost like blind people in such a beautiful world. We are living in a small pond of our own, perhaps, misery. It is familiar, so even if somebody wants to pull you out, you struggle. And again, that goes back with that transformation. We are more comfortable in our darkness, and when the light comes, we have a hesitation because we are afraid that the light will be more uncomfortable than the darkness that we're already comfortable with. It says, then philosophy is spectacular. Zen is a participation in the night leaving, participation in the evening coming, participation in the stars, participation in the clouds, making participation your lifestyle and a whole existence becomes such a joy, such an ecstasy. You could not have dreamed of a better universe. So again, just telling us, oh, hey, Christine, there's my good friend, Christine. And she is actually on my Awakening Miracles group where she also posts her cards of the day. So again, if you guys are interested in joining my small group, you know, you have my intuitive insights and posts, but you also will have Christine's, intuitive insights and posts as well. So that is that participation card. So again, inviting us to participate, inviting us to, you know, and again, with that participation, it didn't say, oh, and now that you're with this person, you have to stay with them forever. It just said, participate with them until the participation is no longer needed. Make that part of your daily routine of, I am here to participate and be a part of life through that communication with others and with my higher power. And that's it. So just be willing to have that. Oh yeah, you can also go find Christine on her Spirit Connections page because she is also here on Facebook. So that is our second week. And something else that I want to touch on is this card, which is patience, stillness. Again, it's not about rushing forward and trying to get everything done. It is about allowing everything to unfold and stepping into that patience, stepping into that stillness, allowing, if you will, your runner guides to bring forth all those people that you're going to be working with in whatever way, shape, or form. And remember, in truth, we are in relationship with everyone and everything. So now let's go to our third week in February and see what other beautiful messages the Osho Zen Tarot has for us. Okay. Ooh, I like this. Okay, interesting. So then, okay, so we have two more cards. So let's go ahead. And our first two cards come from the Osho Zen Tarot. Now, I'm going to show you this card first, okay? So our kind of the last week in February, we need to be very aware of any armor that we are kind of guarding ourselves with. And we need to be willing to let that armor go. You know, there is, I think it's by Pink, and it is The Bridge of Light, and it actually comes from Happy Feet 2. And, you know, something that song kind of talked about was, you know, the price to be right. So the question you have to ask yourself is, and this is the question I love to ask myself as well, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? Now, if I want to be right, that's going to come at a very big price. And you know what that price is? That means I get to be right. I get to be right that person who drives that Maserati is, you know, entitled and mean and terrible and just an awful person. But if I choose instead to be happy, that means I'm letting go of my judgment. I'm letting go of the fight. See, something that the Course in Miracles tells us as well is, why fight against your judgment? It's not about fighting your judgment. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't judge. Instead, I acknowledge that I just had an unloving thought. That's it. I acknowledge it, and I am willing to forgive myself, and I'm willing to then move to the next moment. And this next moment is giving me a beautiful opportunity to forgive myself, and it's giving me a beautiful opportunity to really see things in a different light. But what I have to do, again, is take off that armor. Be willing. Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? Do I want to go into a fight? Do I want to sit there and have to justify myself, justify my point, justify the truth? Or And what I mean by that, in that justification, like, do I want to fight that? Do I want to go and fight? We don't have to fight to defend the truth. We don't have to fight to justify ourselves. There's no reason to do so. Now, it doesn't mean that in that moment or in that next moment that you will not be led to say something, but it does mean that we're not thinking, okay, what do I need to say back to this person in order to fight them or whatever the case may be. So just be really willing at this in the end of February to let go of that armor and not to fight your judgments, not to fight yourself, but instead move from moment to moment, allowing each moment to continue to inform you. And as we do that, oh my God, I love when stuff like this happens, because here's our card, divine guidance. In that moment, seek for guidance. Again, we're asking, do I want to be right about my judgment, or do I want to be happy? Well, if I want to be happy, Spirit, teach me how to be happy. Spirit, how would you see this situation? How would you respond to this? I know how I, being the little I, the ego I, would like to respond. But Spirit, how would you have me respond in this moment? And as we do, we must be patient with ourselves as our intuition gives us the words or the phrases, whatever it is. And again, here's this transformation. So we're still going through it even at the end of February. And this transformation, again, is not about becoming something new. It is about unveiling the truth that already is within you. That is all that it is about. It's about you taking that preparatory step into the truth of who you are, being willing to see the light in yourself and in others, so that you may acquire that knowledge as you kind of see your own insecurities. Just be willing. That's what the Queen of Shadows is here to do. She's here to show us and shine that light on our insecurities, to shine the light on where we are still holding judgments about ourselves or about others, or grievances that we're holding against ourselves or others. Because you know what a grievance does? It blocks the light. You cannot see the light because you are so convinced that there is a grievance right in front of you. And so through that, I just want to see what else the Osho Zen Tarot might have for us for that end of February. We just kind of move in to this silence, and we rebel against the voice of our ego that's telling us, you should judge, you need to judge. It's all about that judging. And as we do that, we get to drop, and this is the schizophrenia card, so it says basically just drop. Drop into your heart, drop into love, asking Spirit, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? Okay? And so that is the general energy forecast for our beautiful month, our beautiful short month of February. So if this is a transformative month, full of innocence and participation, full of moving into the moment and moving into patience and stillness as we go through this transformation, participating with others who are going to help us to grow and transform in divine ways that we did not even know were possible. So just be willing. Who are you going to interact with? Who is Spirit going to guide you to? And again, ask your runner guides, ancestors, guides, angels. I'm ready. I'm ready to meet some new people. I'm ready to meet my soul family. I'm ready to meet with people who are ready to help me transform, and I'm ready to help them do the same. So that is our February forecast. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. And I will talk to you all tomorrow when we start our posts for February.